Welcome to Submitting to the Alpha, a spicy paranormal romance web serial. Dive into Isabella and Roman's sizzling shifter romance and experience the thrill of toying with an alpha like never before. Join the adventure now. We hope you enjoy.
Chapter 39. Isabella. Raj pushed me into the side of a tree and pressed his lips to my neck. They moved so effortlessly on my skin and felt so cool. I rested my head back against the tree bark and closed my eyes. His scruff tickled my skin, and I pulled him closer. Everything about him felt so good. His muscles rippling under his shirt, his sweet butterscotch, the way he grabbed me and held me against him. When his canines brushed against my soft spot, I shook in total pleasure, just waiting, wanting, craving to be marked. My wolf howled inside of me, not being able to resist his touch. "Please, Raj," I whispered. "It feels so..." I let out a small moan. "It feels so good." He gripped my hips, and instinctively I pushed my body against his. He was so much cooler than I was, and when he licked the crook of my neck, I moaned, louder, letting everyone hear me and not caring at all. The moonlight filed through the trees and made my mate's necklace glow on the ground near my clothes. I tensed. My mate, Roman. What would he think about this? He'd hate me. He already hates us, my wolf howled in my mind. Raj doesn't. Raj wants to help us. My breath hitched. I didn't want this. I couldn't want this. No matter how much I hated him, I couldn't betray Roman until he rejected me. It was too wrong. "Raj," I said, trying my hardest to keep my voice steady. I lifted my gaze from his shoulder and gazed at the group of rogues coming our way. "Mate, anyone will do. So hot, please." I pressed my hands to his chest, my palms so cold, and pushed him back. "Raj, stop." His teeth grazed against my neck again, and I resisted the urge to moan. "The rogues." Immediately, Raj tensed. He pulled away, his eyes flickering back and forth between his wolf and his human, tore his hands off me and placed them in fists next to me on the tree. He parted his lips. "Isabel." "The rogues," I said, pointing behind us. My wolf jumped up and down inside of me. "More people for mates. More people. Just our type." They were all staring at me. They were all coming for me. They could all feel me. Soon everyone would be able to feel me, feel this need to be satisfied, and it terrified me. All I could see were werewolves tearing each other apart to see who could get to me first. All I could hear were them growling viciously over my body. All I could feel was dread and misery. "Raj," I said again. He gazed over his shoulder, sucked in a deep breath, and bared his teeth. I wasn't sure if he did so because he was about to kill them all, or because he wanted to sink his teeth into me and claim me. "Claim us. Claim us." "Go," he ordered. I shook my head. "No." Even though I wanted to leave. There were far too many of them for him to take on alone. I needed to suck it up and fight with him, or he'd die. And I took an oath to protect my partner when I joined the Lycans. I wasn't about to. "Go. I'll keep them off of you." "But..." He snapped his head in my direction. "If you don't go now, I will sink my teeth into your neck." His eyes flickered to my neck and darkened, and he shook his head. "Go." And with that, I ducked under his arm and sprinted through the woods. My wolf was trying to hold me back, begging me to stay, to let someone else mark me, to put me out of this misery. But I fought against our natural instinct and continued to run. I ran and ran and ran. When Riker and I had talked about my heat, we had decided that when it came, I should go to the only place where I would be safe, the lichens. But with all unmated wolves in the lichens, I couldn't go back there. So I ran through the woods, never shifting into my wolf in fear that she would betray me and mate with whoever she wanted. I needed to get away from everyone. I needed to get through this. I needed my mate. When Roman's pack house came into my view, my heart thumped in my chest. His scent lingered everywhere, on the lawn, on the dirt, on the door. I barged through the back door and sprinted to his bedroom. Vanessa's scent lingered by one of the spare rooms, and I nearly ripped her door open. But I was too far gone. Roman. I needed Roman. My mate. Everything was so hot. So fucking hot. Beads of sweat rolled down my forehead, and I wiped it off with the back of my hand. When I made it up the stairs, I ran to Roman's room and pushed the door open, ready to be marked and mated. Roman's scent lingered in the air, so strong, yet so weak. I walked into the empty room and slammed the door shut. After pushing the short dresser in front of the door and the tall dresser in front of his window, I clenched my fists. He wasn't here, and that made everything hurt worse. Since I stepped onto this property, my body had burned hotter. I felt like I was standing in a fire pit, with the beads of sweat rolling down my forehead and the unruly boiling of my blood. Nobody would find me here, at least. And if I shifted into my wolf, I wouldn't be able to leave. It was perfect enough to make it through the night. I shuffled through Roman's closet, sticking my nose into his clothes and smelling his scent. It was so calming, yet it just made me ache more. I wanted him to mark me, needed him to mark me now, but he was probably out with Vanessa at the damn nightclub, doing things to her that I didn't even want to think about, but couldn't stop. My wolf growled and bared her teeth at the thought. Another wave of heat hit me, making me pant for something, anything cool. I flung open the bathroom door, started the cold water, and watched it fill up the bathtub. When the bath was half full, I jumped in, unable to resist it. It was cold, freezing almost, but it didn't stop that lingering ache. Why the fuck did this hurt so bad? Why the hell was my life like this? Roman didn't go through heat. Roman didn't know how fucking hard this was because he refused to mark me. Roman didn't know how much pain I was in. He didn't. He wouldn't. Ever. My heart ached, and when the cold water wasn't doing it for me anymore, I turned the faucet back on and rested the crook of my neck right on the rushing water, letting it cool me slightly. The bath filled until the water was sloshing over the edge. I leaned back and groaned loudly. This was too much. Too fucking much. In a bath full of cold water, I was sweating. No goosebumps, just pure beads of sweat. My wolf clawed her way through me. I needed to get out of here, now. Mate. I needed to find a mate. My mate. Any mate. I jumped out of the water, trying to fight my wolf but not being able. I landed on all fours and shifted into my wolf, listening to my bones crack but not feeling anything other than this heat. She sprinted to the door on her hands and feet like the wild fucking animal she was. She growled at the dressers in front of the door, shook away the sweat, and clawed at the wood, small pieces jamming into the pads of our paws. But she didn't care. Over and over and over, our claws dug into it, destroying it and ripping it to pieces. Stop, I demanded, but my wolf didn't listen. Mate, need a mate now. I could barely breathe. All this fur was making it warmer, hotter, and drier. She continued to claw, and I wished Roman would just break through the door at any moment. My head hurt, my vision blurred. After what seemed like hours with no success, I whimpered. I begged my wolf to stop. I couldn't handle it. She was suffocating me. Wave after wave of heat rolled through me. I shifted and laid on the warm ground, tears rolling down my cheeks. I rolled into a ball, then stretched out, unable to find a comfortable position. I stumbled to my feet and away from the door, so I couldn't move the dressers myself. Honestly, at this point, I didn't even think I had enough strength to do that. I eyed the one by the window, which had been untouched by my wolf, and part of me wanted to just hurl myself out of the window, smack against the ground, and pass out. Everything was more intense than it had been, and much hotter, so much hotter. "Bed," my wolf said. "Cool down." I held on to whatever I could, as my legs shook uncontrollably. I couldn't see anything. I moved around the room, my hands on the walls, searching for the thermostat. When I found it, I turned it down as much as I could. I wanted to freeze. Then I collapsed onto the edge of the bed, crawled desperately to the pillows, and laid, spread eagle, on Roman's bed. Cool. I needed to be cool. I stared up at the ceiling, but I could see nothing but darkness. Tears fell from my eyes. Everything hurt so bad. I needed my mate. I needed him. Couldn't he feel the pain I was in? Why wasn't he coming to get me? Why wasn't he coming to save me?
You've reached the end of this episode. Thanks for listening. To get up to 4 weeks additional uncensored content, subscribe to the podcast at reamstories.com/Amelia Rose Audio. Due to content restrictions, explicit sex scenes will only be available through Ream. But if you'd like to continue listening to my free episodes, make sure to hit the follow button to receive updates.